The Pharisees question Jesus' authority. Matthew 20, and it's talk about Matthew 23. Let me read for you briefly. Jesus entered the temple courts, and while he was teaching, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him. By what authority are you doing these things? They asked, and who gave you this authority? Now 24, Jesus replied, I will also ask you one question. If you answer me, I will tell you by what authority I am doing these things. John's baptism, where did it come from? Was it from heaven or of human origin? They discussed it among themselves, and they said, if we say from heaven, he will ask them, why didn't you believe him? But if we say of human origin, we are afraid of the people, for they all that John was prophet. So they answered Jesus, we don't know. Then he said, neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things. Let me continue to share with you guys from Mark 10:46 to 52. I'll read so quick. The blind man, Bartimaeus, receives his sight. 46. Then they came to Jericho. As Jesus and his disciples, together with a large crowd, were leaving the city, a blind man, Bartimaeus, which means son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Many rebuked him and told him to be quiet. But he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus stopped and said, call him. So they called to the blind man, cheer up, on your feet. He is calling you. Throwing his cloth aside, he jumped to his feet and came to Jesus. What do you want me to do for you? Jesus asked him. The blind man said, Rabbi, I want to see. Go, said Jesus. Your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. What is it that you want? Do you have the faith? Do you have the belief, the encouragement to rise up, to take to action to that which you want? All that we are going to do to accomplish anything in our lifetime, it needs us to rise up and do something. It needs us to make a step of faith. That is what Christianity is all about. If you sit down and you think you're not going to make and do anything, and God will do and give everything on a silver platter for you, then you're misguided. That's not the Christianity I believe to. If there was such a Christianity, I do not want to associate myself to that, because Christianity needs us to work for that which we want. And I'm telling you, as we read from the Bible as well, in Matthew 23, the Pharisees were questioning Jesus' authority. Where did you get this authority? But Jesus said, before I answer you, I will pose a question to you. Tell me where John the Baptist, through his baptism, where did he get his authority? He said, if we said heaven, you heard how I read. So if they said human beings, then if he said heaven or God, then you would say, why didn't you then believe him? If he said human beings, then the people were there. They were going to disagree with them because they look at, John the Baptist as a prophet. And indeed he was, And so, whose authority are you using to preach that gospel that you're preaching? Whose authority are you using a moment we are in a position of power and authority where people respect us because of our positions, many times we are going to tend to fall. We are going to get out of our way to please that, which is human, to please that inner desire of our flesh, but not for God. And that is where most of our leaders find themselves today. That instead of serving God, they are too busy in making their parties popular, in making any sorts of killing, abuses, and brutalizing human lives, that they do not care. They do not have the remorse for killing people, for brutalizing people. But I hold the view that going forward will need us to rise up and do something for that which we want. If you have position of leadership, and that position of leadership is making people to respect you, and that is making you to deviate from God, then you are wrong. You've got to come back to a place of peace. You've got to come back to the Lord. Let the Lord lead the battle that you would want to make us to go places. That's my prayer for all of us. Thank you so much. May God help us to repent of all the sins that we have committed, that we will come at peace with ourselves. Because even if people do not know, or whatever evils you have been doing, but you know it exactly. You sit yourself and you know what exactly your thoughts are like in the night, in the dark, when nobody is seeing you. You know what you do in stealing and killing and brutalizing Ugandans in broad daylight. I hold the view that going forward will need us to repent and to see that God will have to do something with us. Because no matter how much sins you have committed unto yourself or unto God, God has still a reason to believe in you, to work with you, to make sure that you be a co-creator with Christ, to make sure that we make this world that we are living in a better place. And if all of us rise up and we do that which is good, then I promise all of you that God is going to lead us in a better direction. God is going to lead us in a better world. I appreciate you guys all. Peace.